All right. If you're watching the replay, I am having some weird behavior. Are we getting anything? No, we're not getting anything. That's very odd. We'll see if anybody shows up. Oh, there it is. I will hyperlink when the whole thing starts. See if anybody's getting on. We're having technical difficulties. You figure after all these streams, it wouldn't happen. But here we go. All right, good. We're making progress. Hey, how are you, Satera? How are things going? Hope everything is good. It's good. Can you hear me? I guess you can hear me. Let me know in the comments. What's up, Stef? Your streaming machine. Indeed. These days, yeah. Yeah. Things are quieting down. The schools are onboarding, so I have more free time. And I'm actually doing two things at the same time as we speak now. I'm streaming, but I'm practicing my lighting skills at the same time. So I wanted to see how this image looks. I hope it looks pretty good. What is the topic? The topic is going to be Q&A, but the actual topic, I wrote it down. What's the topic? As a developer, you must manage expectations, the client expectations. Good to see you. Good to see you too. Yeah, 169. Hello from Earth. There you go. I'm good. How are you, Eduardo? Thank you for streaming so much. Really helpful. I'm glad I could help, Satera. Thanks for watching, by the way. Yeah, okay, you can hear me. Good. Yeah, it looks really nice. Good. I'm trying to always up the quality of my work. It's just something, something I got from the Kung Fu. Diligent practice, always trying to refine, always trying to be better. Lady skill, FLL. I'm not sure about that. What's that all about? Okay, we'll see what Jovan has to say. Hey, Seven, I was just watching the last video and accidentally clicked on the notification for this one. There you go. Yeah, I just decided to get on. I won't be streaming tomorrow, but so yeah, let me just jump into the subject. How many people we got on board here? We got 136. Not bad. Can I reduce the size of this thing? And I guess not. Anyway, okay. As a developer, you must manage expectations. This came up in the comments. I just want to talk about that. It's going to be brief, and then I'll do a little bit of Q&A. Do you still have an old camera for sale? Which old camera are you talking about? All right. So it came up in the comments. People are talking about expectations with regards, managing expectations when you're dealing with clients. And a client could be your boss. It could be your boss. You have to be very careful. As a general rule, you should under-promise and over-deliver, right? So if you think that something's going to take you 2 weeks to do, you should you should give yourself a window of maybe 3 weeks to do it, or more, especially as you're new to the game. You're going to be less accurate in your quotations in terms of the time it takes you to do things. So yeah, one of the things that will get you in trouble as a developer is that you create an expectation about how long it's going to take you to do something, or how robust it is, etc. And you got to try to manage that so that you don't disappoint the clients, right? And that's more or less a psychological game than it is anything else, but it really plays an important role. So for example, and again, it works for freelancing, it works for if you have your SaaS, it works for all kinds of different things. So for example, if you're freelancing, as a quick, if you figure a project is going to take you 2 weeks to do, you should say it's going to take me 4 weeks. Just in case you run into problems, et cetera, because clients are not going to care about your problems. If you tell them 2 weeks, they expect to have it done in 2 weeks. So if you think it's gonna take you 2 weeks to do, maybe give yourself 4 weeks, 3, 4 weeks, depending. Especially when you're a beginner, give yourself maybe 4 weeks. And if you deliver early, fantastic. You're like a superstar, right? It's an old joke. If you watch the original Star Trek series from the 1960s, one of the old things was the engineer Scotty, the character. He was the wizard engineer in the show, and in one of the episodes, he reveals that his trick was to do that, was to claim that something was going to take 2 weeks when it was going to take a month when he only expected it to take 2 weeks. So he delivered it in 3 weeks, and he was a superstar. He was a hero. So again, this is not so much a technical conversation, but it's going to have a tremendous impact in terms of your career, whether you're working for somebody or whether you're freelancing or whatnot. So yeah, always, always always under promise and over deliver. There we go. Whew, I had it in reverse. All right, we'll do a few questions. I'm trying to keep these live streams shorter. I want to do more live streams and a little shorter. More of them, but shorter, not like the 2-hour jobs I used to do. Stef, I feel like you must have a really good Robert De Niro impression. You know what it is? I went to school for a lot of Italians, and I think that's what it is. So I got some of those mannerisms, if you will, the Italian East Coast mannerisms. How would you plan to design a big app? Very, very, very modular. All a big app is, it has, you segment it up into little components that are discrete, meaning they have a very particular use case. That's it. And you look for the major bottlenecks, and then you engineer around those bottlenecks. For most web apps, that's going to be the database. That's it. It's the same as for big apps. When you get bigger with your application development, you're going to have more dependency on DevOps are going to be more important, especially if you have more people involved. The DevOps becomes more and more important because they help you to organize your code. Yeah, you want to use a framework for sure, or multiple frameworks. As projects increase, more frameworks become more important. DevOps becomes more important. So that's the first thing. So you got to kind of lay that groundwork out that way. And the next thing you got to do is you got to start trying to segment your application into different components so that you can farm out components to various individuals or even companies. So that's how I would, first, without getting into great detail, that's how you would approach bigger projects, Nilim Naf says, is everything okay in Quebec? Well, it depends where you are. Quebec is one of the hot spots. I think that we're going to see a rise in the COVID all over the place, and I think we're going to have to just deal with it psychologically, get used to the idea. Maximiliano, I said it right, Monge. I don't know if I said your last name right. I got the first though. Wow, this is so relevant for me right now. Good, I'm glad I could help. Any plans doing a developer life coaching? Yes, indeed. That's what my Lizard Wizard course is all going to be about, and that's what the whole mentoring program is be about. I decided that I wanted to pour out my 3 decades of experience as developer, entrepreneur. I've hired a lot of people. I haven't worked for many people, but I've hired a lot of people. And I'm going to just pour that all out there, because if you just have the tech, that's just part of it. You need to understand the business end of it, the job skills end of it in terms of getting jobs and managing that. And then when you start making money, what do you do with the money? How do you manage this money? I'm going to get into that as well. And I'm going to get into the psychology so you understand how and why you are motivated to do things, why people around you are motivated to do things. Why is that important? Because if you can understand how your boss is motivated and how your coworkers are motivated and how you're motivated, you will improve your ability as a developer, as an entrepreneur, as an employee, in your dating life, in your personal life. It has huge implications. So, and then finally, I'm going to have even a module just on like kind of autopilot types of how an autopilot type of health and nutrition type of thing. Very basic, but very effective. And again, all based on my experience and real data that has been worked out. Because I think a lot of people want that whole continuum, right? And that's what I'm going to provide. How do you stay motivated while learning to code? Well, you do. Best way to get, again, this is where wizard understanding comes into play. Best way to get motivated with it is to associate coding with positive vibes. That's one thing. Also, you want to become habitual in terms of your coding. The more often that you do anything, the more you're going to get used to it and the more it's going to become a habit. So you want to make coding habit forming. You want to do that. So how do you do that? Just do a little bit every day. I've been talking about this for years. I say, I have the 20-minute rule when it comes to coding. The 20-minute rule tells you that you should do a minimum of 20 minutes a day of coding, but you got to take a couple of days off during the week as well. Why? Now, some of you may be going, 20 minutes, how are you going to get anything done? Well, the key is frequency of exposure is very important. And when you sit down there to do your 20 minutes, and some days you just won't feel it, and you do your 20 minutes like you should, and then you just walk away and that's it. But then many times when you sit down to do the 20 minutes, all of a sudden the 20 minutes will be 40 minutes, will be an hour, 2 hours, because you're just getting into it. A lot of times the resistance to starting something is just starting it. So just start it. Just say to yourself, I don't feel like it today, but I'm going to do my 20 minutes. Just 20 minutes, and just sit down and do 20 minutes. That's it. So that's a part of it. I can go on much more than that, but that's two things you can do to motivate yourself in terms of coding. Remember also, last little encouragement with regards to that, anything that you do that's difficult is worth more. It's worthwhile. If it's easy, then it's not worth much. And because then everybody does it, number one. And number two, when you hit roadblocks, when you hit walls, when something is harder, that means you're making new gains. That means you're improving upon yourself. And over time, you may not feel it, but you'll look back 3 months, 6 months, a year later, and you look back and you go, wow, I've learned a lot. Wow, I'm capable now. Just like that with working out too, by the way. Here we go. Yes, that's right. I can't remember that programmers deliver code for my company is in promised time ever. I can't remember that programmers deliver code for my company in promised time ever. Yeah, if you can set the proper expectations and make sure you deliver when you say you're going to deliver, you're going to be a superstar. So I talk about that in my I'm shamelessly self-promoting in my freelance course. My freelance course teaches you much more than just freelancing. It teaches you how to manage projects. Stefan, what do you think about mixing UX skills with dev skills? Well, for sure, 100%. Good UX people are very valuable, but they're only perceived as valuable by other experienced developers. Like, I highly prize really good UX guys or girls. They're very rare. And to me, these days, there's two things that make applications successful, client-facing applications. Number one is the actual whatever service or whatever that the software provides, right? If it's a game or if it's a platform that nobody wants to use, then forget it. But assuming they want to use it, then it's the UX. The UX is everything. Back-end performance, it just has to work. It just has to work reasonably well, and nobody's going to care about how optimized your code is, except when you're doing upgrades. But in terms of like marketability and customer satisfaction with an application, it's UX and the core function of the app, if you will. So UX is super important. Yes, you can mix them. Those are great people to have. In fact, the guy who does my UX now, he's been working with me for like over a decade, I guess now. And his strength is that he's excellent with UX UI, but he actually knows the backend as well. So he knows how to deliver his UX and UI so that my backend developers can take that code from him, and it's laid out and structured so that the backend guys can easily implement it. That's worth a lot. All right, let's see what we got here. Stefan Italianchuk. Italiano Stefano. What is it? Should I focus as a front-end dev more on learning more frameworks of front-end or learning some basics of back? I would learn the basics of back once you're comfortable doing front-end because it gives you just a much wider skill set. And if you ever decide to go into freelancing, back-end is huge, huge. Rec adin. I'm the guy that asked you about tips for internship interviews last stream, and my interview is tomorrow. I'm getting slightly nervous, laugh out loud. Don't worry about it. It's only an internship, and there's many job opportunities, and people are always looking for good developers. If this one doesn't work out, there'll be many other opportunities for you. So just go in there, relax, take deep, slow breaths to calm yourself down. And be sure to ask them good questions, be thoughtful. And if they decide for whatever reason not to go with you, and I'm not saying that will happen, but you could just take it as a learning lesson and ask them, hey, why didn't you take me? Not at the first meeting, be confident, relaxed, honest. They're going to be judging you a lot on your demeanor and personality, just being a cool person to be around, So yeah, don't just take it lightly. Good luck, by the way. Good luck. Remember, in business, if 5% of your products are successful in business, you're like a superstar. Going to entry front-end job, are you required to fully know JS and API or just understand basics? Depends on where you're working. Depends on how desperate they are. It's also a balance of skills, right? If your design and UX skills are stellar, then whether you know how to work with APIs is less important because they want those stellar UX design skills. And on the other hand, the more you know, the better. But again, it depends on where you're going. It depends on what they want. What you got to emphasize to your prospective employers that you're fully willing, you're excited to learn new tech, new stuff. How do you differentiate between intermediate and senior dev? Senior dev is able to carry a project from start to finish. They know how to manage the project. They know how to deliver on time. And they write very simple modular code. That's, I think, the biggest thing for me. Hey, Stefan, I've learned most of the fundamentals of OOP, PHP. What kind of project would you recommend me to do? Practice interfaces, inheritance, etc. Well, I would pick a project idea that you could do on your own, not a tutorial necessarily, and say, work some of those nerd brain muscles, and maybe say, I'm going to build a shopping cart that interfaces with PayPal, and just build your objects to do so. Go to the PayPal site. They already have the PHP code, for example, and just build something very simple. You got to, at one point, take that leap, and you got to actually build something. Emmanuel Ang says, hello, Stef. Hey, how are you, Emmanuel? Hope everything is good. Good night from St. Lucia. Oh, good night. Okay, what's going on here? Ashwin says, hi, Stefan. Developer jobs in my country are not well paid, so I'm going to try jobs in tier 1 countries. Any advice? Yeah, you got to speak. It looks like you write well in English. You got to communicate well. I think it's communication skills are first and foremost. If you have a degree, it helps when you're going over, from one country to the next. And start researching. Start talking to companies maybe in your target country. And if they're interested, they'll be able to help you out there. I have a hard time grasping JavaScript beyond beginner intermediate stuff. Any advice on how to make it stick? I try to do simple projects, but I don't have enough ideas. It just comes with writing code. What's amazing, what happens when you write more and more code, the comprehension just increases. You may find a project maybe online and change it, and rewrite it, that kind of thing. Hi, is buying oil stocks might be a good move? Oof, I don't have a crystal ball there, so I can't really say. Um, super sticker, what is this? $4 from Summer 71. Pure character, exaggerated, stretching arm forward, a cup of coffee. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. Thanks for the. I guess that's you sent me a super sticker. I'm not sure what that is. This is new to me. So thanks. I should check into that. Hold on, I'm gonna check my YouTube, see what happens in the actual YouTube stream here. Give me a second. Hold on. No ads. Not good. That's building that from scratch. That's the old one. Sorry, guy. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Oh, live now. Here we go. With MailChimp's recommendations. Oh boy. Hold on. All right. Very professional. 7 a.m. in Indonesia. Skip ads. Okay. Here we go. What's going on with super sticker? Scroll to the top. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. I have to look that up. If you shot $4 my way, I appreciate it, I guess. All right. 7 a.m. from Indonesia. There you go. Waking up. How could, here we go. Or Eduardo. How could I acquire clients in another country? How to make marketing there? Start with a very good website of yours. Start with a very good website. Russian lad. Are software developers still in demand in Canada? Duh. Yes. MariaDB or MySQL? I haven't used Maria, so I couldn't say. I use MySQL just because I've been using it for 10,000 years. Troy, I'm not interested in WordPress. Is PHP still a viable path for a job opportunity, or should I stay with C# and JavaScript? Yeah, well, I did a video a couple of days ago on, and Indeed, the job site said that PHP jobs were the fastest growing out there. I think over 834% growth in PHP job listings. So take that for what it is. I don't know. It's. I think PHP is very viable. But look at your local jobs. Let's see what the whiteboard has to say. Asking for a friend. Let's just say they wanted to take a manager's DevOps position by force. How would he go about doing it? How would it take a manager's DevOps position by force? What, you want to go? I'm just joking. But I don't know. I'm not sure how you would do that. Be very careful. You don't want to get thrown out, I guess. But you can always get another job. Thanks for the good luck, Stef. Not a problem. I'm sure you'll do well, and I'm sure at the very least you'll learn, and that's good enough. I feel like I've never ready to apply for jobs. I guess my portfolio looked fine, but I'm scared if they ask me to check the code. I just go for it. You don't have a job now, and if you apply for a job and you don't get a job, then whatever, you just say, okay, why didn't I pass? And you'll learn. And then it will take you one step closer to getting a job. It's kind of like dating. If you never ask her out, it's the same thing as getting rejected. So you might as well just get rejected and practice, I like this guy. Let's say somebody wanted to steal a lot of money legally, like a lot of money that could last 4 lifetimes. Who is the best person to steal money from? Legally, of course. Go to Wall Street. They're good at that kind of stuff. What do you think of KISS principle? Keep it simple, stupid. Oh yeah, that's one of the universal principles of engineering. I come from engineering. For sure, 100%. KISS is number one on the list. The number one thing that I look for when I look at people's code and when I'm evaluating the skill set of a developer, besides consistency in the code base, I look for simplicity. Simplicity. Best question to ask before hiring senior web developer and designer. I would see what their experience is, and I would ask and see if they ask you good questions about your stack, about what you're doing. It's a feel thing. I've been lucky, though. I've been able to pick out superstars when I've hired people. Communication is key. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. How are we doing for time? All right, I'm going to be ending this in 6-7 minutes because it's almost half an hour. Time flies. Let's see what we got here. Okay. James, come on. What is the best course place to learn PHP? StudioWeb, of course. Where else? What else would I say? My own. Seriously, mine would be the best. But I might be biased. Thank you, Stefan. Doing my first website with HTML, CSS, and PHP and JavaScript. Hey, congratulations. Yeah, that's it. You just got to jump in. You got to jump in, you know? You can't be like my friend who was like hitting the heavy bag in the boxing gym for a year and he never sparred once. First day I went to the boxing gym. I got in the ring right away and I took a beating. But then I learned very quickly. Fortunately, when you go in there and you write code and you mess up with your code first time and you're having trouble, fortunately, you'll never break your nose. You'll never get your nose broken. That's a big bonus. I have just under 2 years professional experience as a junior dev. They often had me doing 90% of the project unsupervised. I can create an app from start to finish. Can I look for intermediate level jobs? Yes, I think you can. You're ready to go. If you can do from start to finish 2 years, you're ready to get into the intermediate. Hi, Stef. I'm 30, done learning JavaScript and HTML, now currently working on my CSS. Next plan to build a portfolio using React. My question, am I doing correct as self-taught? Yeah, sure. First example, yeah, take care of the front end and then put up your site and maybe explore a little back end after that. Again, it's just for skill sets. I'm just trying to position this. Let's see if we can get a better, no, that's no good. Oh, all right. I'll try this. Hold on. There we go. Yeah. That's 834% because of the layoffs due to coronavirus. Well, it went up 800 and it went up 834% this year. Okay, let's see if I'm trying to find the optimal position for this text box. A little better. All right. I'm almost done your CSS course. When can I start applying for jobs? Should I wait after? Yeah, you want to get into the PHP, the JavaScript, and do 1 or 2 little projects and then build your website. Then you're ready to go. You're getting there. The CSS is probably the hardest course of them all. There we go. I figured out how to shrink it. There we go. Thank you. Can you guys see that? Good, good. Okay, good. How would you describe 2020 in one word? Game changing, I think. A lot of changes coming. All right, what do we got here? All right, we're going to end off with a couple more. Hey, Steph, just got my first job, but I struggle to understand their web stack. Any tips when jumping into an existing project that I'm not familiar with? Yeah. First, you got to find out if they're using a framework that's commonly used. I don't know which framework, hopefully that's the case. Then I would just learn the basics of that framework first. If it's a custom framework, I would maybe ask one of their devs to kind of show you around a custom framework. But then I would just tackle one module within the application itself. It's one of the hardest things about programming is getting in there, understanding a code base. That's why one of the reasons why people use frameworks. What's cracking, Steph? Awesome Zoom yesterday. Yeah, hey, thanks. How are you doing, Matthew? How's it going? Yeah, no, I just I felt like doing a live tonight. I don't know. I hope everything's good with you. Okay, let's see what we got here. Samurai 71. Hi from Montreal. Hey, fellow Montrealer Canuck. How much harder do you think it is to enter a web dev bilingual market? Depends how good your French is. It's always harder when you got to do things in multiple languages, but this you learn the French. Mm. All right, I'll answer one more. Okay, it's 30 minutes. We're going to end this off. Should I spend a lot of time learning PHP by itself, or should I just learn basics and hop into Laravel? No, 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 no. Do my basic PHP course and then hop in, and then SQL, then start learning Laravel. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they got a lot. You got to know what you're doing. He's not like I haven't looked at his stuff in years. Doesn't explain. He assumes that you know a lot of stuff, but maybe he's improved those. But no, he's probably the best out there in terms of Laravel. Hey, how are you? I've learned HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, responsive. Can I apply for front-end job with these? Should I learn JavaScript as well? By the way, I am from Bangladesh. Well, Sagar Kumar, I hope everything is well with you. Can you build a site? Do you feel comfortable building a site with these technologies? If you do, put up a site, start applying for jobs, but as you're applying for jobs, start learning a little bit of JavaScript, you know. Rave Diva. I don't know if I said that right. My apologies. I notice you're doing a lot more streams. Much appreciated. No problem. Not a problem. I know people like them, so I figure I'll do a few more. Let's. Did you miss any Ruby jokes? No, nothing yet. I'm on a Ruby joke moratorium. Anyway, whatever. Stef, is Pornhub made with PHP? I don't know, but it's in Montreal, by the way. It's a Montreal company. Hey, Stefan, what do you think about PLC programming? You can become a freelancer doing it. PLC. I don't remind me what PLC is. How do you deal with a startup boss that is always right? Well, he pays the bills. You can only offer your suggestion and take it from there. Don't take it personally. Startup bosses are usually under a lot of pressure. And yeah, so there you go. Great videos, Stefan. Helped me a lot in this industry. Good, great videos. I'm glad I can help you. Fantastic. Which payment processor do you use, and do you recommend Hotspot? I have not used Hotspot, so I couldn't say. I used to have my own payment gateways, but now I use Stripe and I use PayPal. They're very good. Each one has their pros and their cons. They're both pretty good. Greetings from Lithuania, just after 20 minutes of coding StudioWeb projects. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. All right. A little buzz from my cousin. All right, so I think I'm going to end it here. We've been 33 minutes and counting. I hope you guys are having a good time. So many questions. But it's a small group tonight, only 180 people. So that's okay. So tomorrow I won't be active, but probably on Wednesday. And yeah, that's it. All right, I will end with my ASMR main ocean view that people like. And we'll talk soon, guys. Bye-bye.